So apparently, it ain't all that much fun to work with LeBron James. This has been uttered by people in Miami. When he left, there were hard feelings. It wasn't a sullen goodbye. This has been uttered by Phil Jackson, who talked about how much Miami still didn't really like the culture that LeBron James brought to Miami and how he fought how Pat Riley wanted to run that organization. It's why we were told Kyrie Irving left Cleveland. Not because of playing with LeBron James, but everything that went into playing with and for LeBron James. It's why Kevin Durant, early in this last season, said, hey, thanks, but no thanks. I don't want to play around LeBron James because it's an environment filled with toxicity. So David Griffin sat down had two different parts to it. One was Sports Illustrated. And of course, he was on the Woj pod as well. But the Sports Illustrated article has some money quotes. Quote, everything we did was so inorganic and unsustainable. Frankly, not fun. I was miserable. Literally, the moment we won the championship, I knew I was going to leave. There was no way I was going to stay for any amount of money. Well, that's just David Griffin speaking out of his backside. That couldn't be the case in dealing with LeBron James. He's most people's greatest player in the generation and some people's greatest player of all time. It has to be fun to finally win a championship for LeBron and for the city of Cleveland, especially David Griffin, who, by the way, is from Cleveland. Right? Magic Johnson had a good time working with LeBron, right? Remember when Magic Johnson decided to quit the last day of the season with the Lakers? He did mention how much fun it was. Magic saying he'd rather tweet about other NBA players than actually work in the front office is a little off-putting and maybe tells you more about his work ethic. But when enough people say the same thing about a similar situation working with the same guy, his friends and his teammates can deny it all they want, but this is a narrative because it's true. Colin says it all the time. Look, reputations, after a while, they are earned, not given. When Pat Riley and David Griffin and Magic Johnson all walk away going, that was not fun. In nowhere did they say he's not a great player. In no part did they not say that they weren't on some points successful, although LeBron has yet to be successful in a Lakers uniform. The assumption is that if he stays healthy, they're going to be good this year. Whether they win a championship or not, you got LeBron, you got Anthony Davis, you got a better team around him. But it's not fun. And no matter how much you want to run onto a court during an AAU game, no matter how much you want to smile and joke and do the Taco Tuesday, it's just not fun. Again, that doesn't mean it doesn't ultimately end up in competing for a championship because he is that good. But this is who he is. This is what it's like to work with LeBron James. People are bothered by the quote that David Griffin gave them when he said, it's everyone else's fault. Everyone else is taking the blame except for LeBron James. That couldn't have possibly happened in Los Angeles, right? Well, okay, Luke Walton took a little blame. He lost his job. Magic Johnson took a little blame. He quit and was deemed to be inept. Rob Pelinka's caught a little blame. He doesn't know what he's doing. Lonzo Ball and Brandon Ingram and, heck, name a Laker. They're not good enough. They caught it. Yes, that's what happened. Is it a bit of an overstatement to say LeBron James gets no blame? A little bit. Right? But when they lost to the Warriors the second time, the first time, okay, Kyrie gets hurt, Kevin Love gets hurt. What are you going to do when you lose two of your big three? But when they lost to the Warriors, it was, well, they have Kevin Durant and we don't. Okay, well, you still had Kyrie Irving. You still had Kevin Love. You still had Tristan Thompson. You still had the makeup of the team that won the championship the previous year. LeBron James was the guy who was bested by Kevin Durant at the same position. Even going back to his last year with the Cavs, I will grant it was J.R. Smith's fault that he didn't know time and score. But as I said on this very set at the time, LeBron James' body language when they went to overtime in game one was one of, I can't believe I'm working with idiots. I can't believe he does, which is not what you're supposed to do as a leader. You're supposed to do, hey, it's okay. Next play. Let's keep going. Get your heads up. Instead, he was done. He was finished. He's not wrong to feel like it was JR's fault. He's not wrong to feel like the other team had better players because Kyrie Irving had said, it's not fun. I want out. But this whole idea that LeBron James takes all the blame is a complete departure from the truth. Complete departure from the truth. The only time he took a healthy amount of the blame was when they lost to the Dallas Mavericks. And in all honesty, might not have been all that much his fault. Right? That team wasn't ready. It was his first year. And oh yeah, by the way, Mike Bibby was the starting point guards game 1 through 5. Didn't even play in game 6 because he was so inept. Nobody pointed that out. He actually took the blame in that loss, but didn't take the blame after that. When they lost the final time to the Spurs, it was not LeBron's fault. Dwayne Wade's aged. Roster's not good enough around him. And so he left and went to Cleveland. I'm not sure I know the win here for David Griffin. You're still in the league. Rich Paul is close friends with his client and longtime friend LeBron James. So you're going to have to do business with Rich Paul. So that also means there's no reason for him to have to lie. And that's probably why he said it. I'm tired of lying. And if you actually read the quotes and the context of the quotes, he talks about how they won a championship and he was bawling, crying because he knew there was no way he was coming back. Because the process, the inorganic way in which they were doing it was unsustainable. David Griffin is saying, yeah, I had to do the Tristan Thompson deal. I had to do the J.R. Smith deal. I had to do the Kevin Love deal. Long-term deals that weren't good deals, that weren't good business, that in his heart of hearts he knew would not prolong the run of the Cleveland Cavaliers. But he had to work with the ego of LeBron James, the desire to only work with certain people. I don't want to work with David Blatt. I don't want to play with that player. LeBron operates in a world in which he doesn't even have to say what he wants. He is the king of being passive aggressive. So you have to try and read his mind. He's surrounded by sycophants who won't tell him the truth. Even his tweet yesterday, after this David Griffin story came out, shows you how passive aggressive he is. Enough is enough. The throne has been played with too much. And I ain't for horseplay. Ether coming soon. I don't know what any of that means. Does anyone know what any of that means? A lot of emojis. Fire emoji, smiley face emoji, crown emoji, hashtag James Gang, hashtag brown fist. I got nothing for you. Like a smile and ether and flames combined. Like, look, LeBron James last year, when he was injured, when he hurt his groin, disappeared from the team, would show up at the games, wouldn't show up on time, would come out to the court after the game was already taking place so he could get his own standing ovation, walked into work with a goblet of wine, which is completely and totally unacceptable. He's done his own thing. And you know what? It ain't that much fun. And Pat Riley said it, and David Griffin said it, and Magic Johnson said it. And the people defending him are just like the argument about AAU basketball and parenting. They're moving the line. No one talked about him as a parent. You don't know if he's a good parent? I don't know if he's a good parent. I like that he shows up and he roots for his kid. And his kid seems like he handles it with a ton of grace. But dude, you can't be on the court during a game. I don't care who you are. and don't hop into layup lines with your son. Like, what are you doing? What are you doing? In what world is that acceptable? It's not, especially when you're arguably the greatest basketball player on earth. You're held to a higher standard than everybody else, not a lower standard. So, look, LeBron James is a great player. He's been a remarkably successful player in multiple stops. And he has a chance to win a third championship with a third franchise, the most storied franchise in NBA history. But you want to put a team around him? It's about the now. You have to figure out what he wants, and it's not going to be fun. No matter how much he tweets out smiles and emojis about Taco Tuesday.